Welcome to your Health Facts podcast. Um, it's fascinating that everyone has, you know, cancer cells in their body. A strong immune system is like so crucial for keeping these cells in check. And today we're diving into like natural ways to activate your immune defenses, specifically through foods and lifestyle choices.
Yeah, the immune system, it's like a complex internal defense force, right? It's meticulously identifying and eliminating rogue cells, the ones that could potentially develop into cancer. This intricate network comprises various specialized cells, tissues, and organs all working together. Among these, natural killer cells, T cells, and macrophages play, particularly crucial roles.
So natural killer cells, they're like the body's first line of defense against cancer. Right? They've got this amazing ability to identify and destroy infected or abnormal cells before they can, proliferate and cause harm. Like imagine them as highly trained sentinels, always on patrol, constantly patrolling your body, just like searching for any sign of danger.
Right, and then you've got the T cells, which are incredible because of their memory. Once they encounter a threat, they remember it, right? And if it ever comes back, they mount this swift and targeted attack. It's crucial for long-term protection against recurring infections and diseases.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then, lastly, we've got the macrophages. They're like the cleanup crew of your immune system, engulfing and eliminating cellular debris, pathogens, any unwanted materials, making sure that the battlefield is clear, for optimal immune function.
Okay, makes sense.
So these vital immune cells, they need specific nutrients to operate at peak efficiency, right? And a diet that's rich in fruits, vegetables, whole foods provides these essential nutrients, and that empowers your immune system, to function optimally.
Right, so it's all about giving your body the right fuel, right?
Exactly. So consider frozen blueberries, for instance. They're packed with these things called anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants, right? They protect your cells from damage and they enhance the activity of natural killer cells. And studies have shown that eating blueberries regularly can significantly increase your natural killer cell counts.
Wow, so blueberries can really help boost your immune system then.
Absolutely, yeah. They contribute to a more robust immune response.
That's interesting. And I've also heard that strenuous exercise like, marathon training, it can temporarily lower your natural killer cell count,
It's true.
which I guess just highlights the importance of, supporting your immune system through proper nutrition, especially after really intense physical activity.
For sure, for sure. And another potent immune booster, one that's found in nature, is a green tea, especially the sencha variety.
I've heard of sencha. It's a Japanese green tea, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it's abundantly EGCG, which is a compound that's, known for its potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. So EGCG, it actually enhances the activity of natural killer cells. But at the same time, it reduces inflammation, so you're creating this environment that's conducive to, optimal immune function.
So green tea, or at least Century green tea, is good for reducing inflammation, which helps your immune system, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting. And how is green tea actually made? I've always wondered about that.
Well, it involves, meticulously processing the leaves from this plant called Camellia sinensis.
Okay.
And different varieties of green tea, they have their own, unique flavor profiles and characteristics.
Okay. So, what about sencha? What makes sencha special?
Sencha, it's one of the most popular Japanese green teas. And it's, known for its delicate taste and that vibrant green color. It actually represents the first harvest of the season. So it's prized for its freshness and its quality.
Oh, okay. So it's like the first pick of the season. That makes sense.
Right. And I've noticed that, high quality green tea, if it's sourced from these specialized farms, they often charge a much higher price, compared to the commercially produced tea you find at the supermarket.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that too.
And I think that price difference reflects the care, the traditional methods that they use in its cultivation and processing.
Feels like you're paying for the quality on the craftsmanship, right?
Yeah, exactly. For example, you can get this hand-pick green tea from this, renowned farmer in China, and it can cost $80 for a small container.
Wow. $80.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it just goes to show you the dedication and the expertise that goes into producing, exceptional tea.
That's amazing.
And there's also cardamom, that spice. It's used a lot in Indian cuisine.
Oh, yeah. I love cardamom. It has such a unique flavor.
It does, and it's got these immune boosting properties too, like it actually enhances natural killer cell activity, and when you combine it with black pepper, it like amplifies the effects even more.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like even just incorporating cardamom into your diet regularly can give your immune system a noticeable boost.
Huh. I'll have to try that. And speaking of things I didn't know, I recently learned that apple peels have this, like, surprising benefit.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, they're a really potent source of this tumor suppressor protein. It's called MSIN. And basically, it helps to, like, switch off cancer cell growth. Like, it inhibits their ability to, proliferate uncontrollably.
Interesting. So it's like a natural defense mechanism built right into the apple.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But it's important to eat the whole apple, including the peel, because apple juice, it doesn't have that crucial component.
Right, that makes sense. It's like with anything, the whole food is always going to be better than the processed version.
Exactly. And berries are another great example of that. Like blackberries, raspberries, cranberries. They're all packed with anthocyanins and quercetin.
Quercetin, yeah. It's also abundant in lenions and apple peels, and it's been linked to like protection against lung cancer.
Wow. So many good reasons to eat berries. They're delicious and they're good for you.
Absolutely. They're like a delicious and effective way to, strengthen your immune system. And something else that's really important for immune function is good blood flow.
Oh, right. Because your immune cells need to be able to travel efficiently throughout your body, right?
Exactly. They need to get to the areas where they're needed, to combat threats. But high blood pressure, that can really impede that process because it damages blood vessels. So it becomes much harder for those immune cells to, navigate effectively and to reach the areas where they're needed to fight cancer.
So high blood pressure basically makes you more susceptible to cancer.
It can, yeah, because your circulation is compromised. So the delivery of those immune cells, to combat those mutated cells, it's hindered.
That's scary. I definitely need to keep an eye on my blood pressure then. And speaking of things that can increase your risk of cancer, I've heard that there's a link between high dairy consumption and prostate cancer.
Yeah, there have been studies that have shown a correlation there.
And do we know why that is?
Well, it's potentially attributed to the growth hormones that are present in dairy products, the ones that are intended to like accelerate the growth of calves.
Right.
But those same hormones, they can stimulate cell growth in humans too, which could, potentially contribute to the development of cancer.
So it's not the calcium itself that's the problem, it's the hormones.
Yeah, that seems to be the case because interestingly, calcium that's, obtained from non-dairy sources, it doesn't appear to exhibit those same adverse effects.
Okay, that's good to know. And, when I think about the modern diet, it's just so different from, like, what our grandparents ate. Like, it seems like we're eating so much more processed food now.
It's true. And that shift has definitely like contributed to the surge in metabolic diseases and cancer rates
Yeah.
because like ultra processed foods, they're often lacking in essential nutrients, and they're frequently loaded with like concentrated amounts of sugar. So they're very palatable, but they're not doing our bodies any favors.
Yeah, they're kind of like empty calories, right? They taste good, but they don't really provide any nutritional value.
Right. And unfortunately, they've become such a staple in many modern diets. They're like displacing those whole natural foods that are so essential for optimal health. And it's a real shame because, the current healthcare paradigm, it often emphasizes screening rather than prevention.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think we need a paradigm shift to really prioritize those preventative measures because a diet that's abundant in whole natural foods, that's what provides the essential nutrients that our immune system needs, to effectively combat diseases. So by embracing that proactive approach, you can significantly reduce your risk of developing cancer and other chronic illnesses.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about catching cancer early, it's about preventing it in the first place.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating? A lot of those potent cancer drugs that we have today, they're actually derived from plants.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Taxol, for instance, that's extracted from the bark of the Pacific yew tree.
Wow.
And then you've got vincristine and vinblastine, which are derived from the Madagascar periwinkle, and then topotecan, which is sourced from the myapple plant.
It's amazing to think that these powerful medicines come from nature.
It really is, and I think it just goes to show you the incredible power of nature and the potential of plants to yield compounds with, like, profound medicinal properties. Yeah. And I think these examples, they really demonstrate that plants, they have these potent compounds that can actually influence cancer cells, but it's better to get them from like whole foods,
Yeah, that makes sense.
rather than like a concentrated synthetic form.
Right, it's about balance, I guess.
Yeah, because like think about it, ultra-processed foods, they often contain these concentrated amounts of chemicals like sugar, starch, fruit extracts, sugar substitutes.
Hmm.
And even though those ingredients might be like derived from plants, it's that concentration in processed foods that can actually lead to, adverse biological effects.
Right, so it's like too much of a good thing could be bad.
Exactly. But when you consume those whole natural plants, they provide those nutrients in a, balanced, less concentrated form, so you reduce the risk of those negative consequences.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like, I don't know, it's like taking a vitamin supplement versus eating a whole orange.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
You're still getting the vitamin C, but it's just, in a different form.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
exactly. And like, did you know that the average American consumes something like 70 pounds of table sugar every year?
Wow, 70 pounds. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's like a single purified chemical, and that excessive intake can have really detrimental effects on your health.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sugar's been linked to so many health problems.
It has. And it's because like every chemical has a therapeutic window, and if you exceed that limit, then that's when you start to see those adverse events.
Right, so it's about moderation.
Exactly. And that goes for sugar substitutes too. Even small amounts of sugar substitutes, they can alter your gut microbiome.
And why is the gut microbiome important?
Well, your gut microbiome, it plays a crucial role in immune function.
Oh, okay.
A healthy gut microbiome, that's essential for overall well-being.
So those sugar substitutes might actually be doing more harm than good then?
Yeah, potentially. And, it's like we were talking about before, those fruits and vegetables like apples and broccoli, they provide those valuable nutrients like quercetin and sulforaphane.
Hmm?
And those compounds, they actually enhance natural killer cell and T cell activity.
Oh, wow.
So they help suppress those cancer cells. And it's another reason why, incorporating those foods into your diet can really like boost your immune system's defenses.
That's amazing. And it's interesting because it seems like the amount of produce that Americans are eating, it hasn't really changed that much in decades.
Yeah, you're right. It's been pretty stagnant.
But at the same time, the consumption of ultra-processed foods, that's skyrocketed.
It has, and that dietary shift, it's definitely contributed to those rising rate of, metabolic diseases and cancer. We're consuming at least 50% of our diet as like ultra-processed engineered foods. And those foods are missing those essential nutrients that you find in whole natural foods.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary statistic. And I've heard that, like, the reason why previous generations lived longer was because they weren't exposed to all these ultra-processed foods when they were younger.
That's very possible. Yeah.
Because it seems like the proliferation of these foods, it really began in the 1960s, after those government subsidies of the food system.
Yeah, so we're essentially the first generation that's been, raised on ultra-processed foods, and that's like a major factor in this current health crisis with all the, metabolic disorders and increased cancer rates. And I think another issue is that there's been such an emphasis on calories and weight
Mhm.
that it's kind of overshadowed the crucial role of phytonutrients, in protecting our DNA and suppressing the growth of those mutated cells.
Right. Phytonutrients, they're found in plants, right?
Exactly. And they're abundant in whole natural foods. And the thing is, they don't provide calories, but they're essential for, maintaining cellular health and preventing disease. So if you want to like really reclaim your health, I think it's crucial to, transition away from those ultra processed foods and embrace a diet that's rich in natural whole foods, Activate your immune system, prioritize prevention, and that way you can take control of your, future well-being.
That's great advice. And for our listeners who want to, learn more about this topic, you can visit our website, yourhealthfacts.com. Thanks for listening, everyone. CHTO.